It is a river of light.
Good boy. Hey, vinyl community. Elliot here, Lazy Dogs Records, and a lot of contests out there lately. Russ at Momma's Records has one going on right now. I just watched Richard's contest entry this afternoon and watched a couple more earlier in the week. So I want to, and I'm subscribed to Russ's channel, so thought I would put something together to enter his contest and show him some support. He's up to about 250 subs now, and he's got 3 questions and then a couple of shout outs he wants us to do to enter his contest. 3 different prompts. So the first is show a great side 2 of an album. All of my picks are based on lifelong listening, not recent picks. The formative years in your mid-teens on up. And so the first one I want to pick, and you'll see a trend here. What was I listening to when I was in high school? I listened to a lot of things, a lot of different things, but there's a bit of consistency here in this one. So when I was 15 years old, this album came out, and this was my introduction to the Allman Brothers. I love the cover on here. A great album that came along at a very, very important, impressionable period of time in my life as I was getting into music. Could have gone in a lot of different directions, and this kind of gave me a base for it. But this album, of course, led to going back in the catalog and getting into the earlier albums from the Allman Brothers back when Dwayne was in. Now, of course, Dwayne was not had passed away already when this album was released, and so the band was in turmoil. They had lost 2 band members. It didn't look like they were going to go on, but thanks to Richard Betts, Dickie Betts, guitarist in the band, he basically shook them up and said, "Come on, we can't just let all this that we've done be for nothing. We've got to move, continue forward." And he was the anchor of the band and the creative force in the band that kept them going. And they produced a great album. I said, if the live at the Fillmore album was a smoky bar at midnight on Saturday night, then Brothers and Sisters is a Sunday afternoon by the lake. The feel you get from those two. I think that's my analysis of it. But on Capricorn Records, Allman Brothers Band, Brothers and Sisters, side 2. A perfect side 2. All 3 songs written by Dickie Betts. Of course, the band got a huge boost when Ramblin' Man, written by Dickie Betts, became a huge hit that year when the album came out. But side 3 is all written by Dickie Betts, and it's 3 songs: Southbound, Jessica, and Pony Boy. And just a great side record. I'll play you a needle drop. I think I'll needle drop a little of Pony Boy for you to get a feel, and it'll give you a pretty good feel of what this album was all about. Great side 2 of an album.
Tell me that's a crime when the morning comes and it's time to
same time, of course, Capricorn Records was the rising force in the music world at that point. And the second prompt is to show a great second release. So also on Capricorn around that same time, this album came out. The second album from the Marshall Tucker Band. And this is A New Life. The debut album was excellent album. And they did not show any let up with this one. This is side 1, A New Life, Southern Woman, Blue Ridge Mountain Sky, Too Stubborn. Side 2, Another Cruel Love, You Ain't Fooling Me, 24 Hours at a Time, and Fly, Eagle, Fly. You get the jammy feel from the Marshall Tucker Band. You get the jazz inflections from the Marshall Tucker Band. You get kind of a Western swing feel sometimes with some of the stuff. And this album was just an outstanding album. I love the artwork for Marshall Tucker's first few albums. Band out of South Carolina. And they are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And that is a travesty right there. They produced a bunch of albums, but their first 5 or 6 albums could stand up to anybody's catalog. And they were just a very creative band. They fell under that stereotypical moniker Southern rock. But if you listen to what the true early bands that got handed that label, Southern rock, each of those bands was unique. There was no cookie cutterness about the Allman Brothers, Marshall Tucker Band, Wet Willie, bands like that. They had their own uniqueness, and they didn't rely on a formula by any means. Marshall Tucker Band being a great example. This band should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame if there's any justice. Of course, a lot of people say Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is irrelevant, and maybe it is. But I mean, if you're going to have one, why are the Marshall Tucker Band not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And then the third prompt is a great double LP. Fast forward about 3 years later, and most people had not heard of this band until this live album came out, double album. And I was one of them. I wasn't familiar with them at all. They were kind of a niche band, and if, some of the older guys, I knew one older guy, meaning somebody in their early 20s when I was 18 or 19 or, mid 20s, who knew of Little Feat and had their early albums leading up to this one. But the Waiting for Columbus album, again, great artwork. And this is my original copy that I bought at the time, 1978. I know that because it's got this little sticker. I always put this little sticker on my records back in the 70s and 80s. And just a great album. Introduced so many people to Little Feat and the Lowell George era of Little Feat. Side one, joined the band, Fat Man in the Bathtub, All That You Dream, Oh Atlanta, and Old Folks Boogie. Side two, Time Loves a Hero, Day or Night, Mercenary Territory, Spanish Moon. Side three, Dixie Chicken, Trip Face Boogie, and Rocket in My Pocket. And finally, side four, the iconic song Willing, Don't Bogart That Joint, Apolitical Blues, Sailing Shoes, and Feats Don't Fail Me Now. What an album that is. It's live, it's a 2-record set, and what it did was introduce so many of us that didn't have a clue about Little Feat. It started getting played on the radio, and people started, on the album-oriented rock stations, and we started digging it and said, what do we do? Just like 3 or 4 years before, when Brothers and Sisters comes out, people go back and get the earlier catalog. We went back and started collecting the earlier catalog.
sometimes lie. I sometimes lie. They can be real deceiving. Got an uncle in Puerto Rico. Spends his days in the sun, his nights in the casinos. He left the States many years ago. Took a fishing boat to Puerto Rico. Now my aunt, she is sad and lonely. She'll never know that you drove him away. As a coward, I admire his courageous ways.
Allman Brothers Band, Brothers and Sisters, Marshall Tucker Band, A New Life, and Little Feat, Waiting for Columbus. And each of those, I think, helped introduce those three bands to a wider audience. And then finally, Russ wants us to shout out some stations with around 200 or less subscribers. And I'll cite two of them for you. And I'll put links down below. And the first one would be JJ 22 Explosive Hits. And JJ's got a great channel. He collects the K-Tail records. If you're of a certain age, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He likes to collect those, but he collects a whole lot more. He's a big Grateful Dead fan. He live streams some Grateful Dead oftentimes, and he's a very, very kind and generous and nice person in the VC. So I'd love to see you check out JJ's channel and join him if you haven't already. And the other is the most controversial couple in the vinyl community. It's Pinge and Derek. They've only got 54 channels and 54 subscribers to their channel, and I know that just breaks their heart. They are the voice that we don't hear often enough in the VC. They are the ones that call us on our BS. And so join subscribe to Pinge and Derek's channel, and let's get them up. Let's at least get them over 100 subs. They're playing an important role for all of us. I think you would all agree. Anyway, there's my entry into Russ's 200 subscribers plus contest, and I'll put links to everything down below, and I'll remind everybody to be kind to your neighbors, because guess what, folks, we're all neighbors.